Prime Minister Modi took a flight in the Made in India light combat aircraft Tejas. The sortie happened in the backdrop of his visit to the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited site in Bengaluru, where he also conducted a comprehensive review of HAL's manufacturing facility. Well, let's go across to Vishnu Shom for more on this. And Vishnu, you've flown on a Tejas as well. We'll talk about that a little later. But the significance of the Prime Minister's visit and taking a flight on the Tejas.
Well, it is quite important, Gargi, because it's not just a joyride. In a sense, it establishes the government's interest in pushing through with the entire Tejas project. The Tejas is essentially the bedrock of many of our Indian Air Force aviation demands and desires. It is a Made in India platform. It is an excellent platform for the class of aircraft that it actually is. And over a period of time, it's going to be upgraded even more than it has been already. And the Tejas will be in service with the Indian Air Force easily past 2050 is my assumption in its various variants. The Prime Minister actually flying the aircraft today is a testimony of the importance that the government places on the Tejas. There are 2 squadrons of Tejas, 33 aircraft already in service with the Indian Air Force. There are approximately 7 trainers or twin-seat aircraft, one of which the Prime Minister was in, which will enter active service with the Indian Air Force. And then after this, there'll be the Tejas Mark 1A. That's an advanced variant of the jet the Prime Minister flew on today. And let's have these images up full screen, because you know this footage is quite something. It shows the Prime Minister up in the sky in a Tejas, and there's a second Tejas in the air as well. This is visuals of the Prime Minister shortly after he landed. But the point I was making is that with the government having committed almost 37,000 crores for the acquisition of 83 Tejas Mark 1A aircraft, and with the proposal for the further acquisition of 97 more Tejas Mark 1A aircraft, it just goes to show how important this is for the future evolution of the Indian Air Force. I think, Gargi, there's another key point over here, and that needs to be mentioned. Whenever the President or the Prime Minister fly in an aircraft, they usually fly in a twin-engined aircraft. That's done because of safety reasons. The Tejas is a single-engine aircraft. And the fact that the Prime Minister chose this and the government actually gave him the go-ahead to go with this sortie is a testimony to the fact that the Tejas has an incredible safety record in the Indian Air Force. And that's
right.
something
in
which
fact,
the Prime
Minister said this was a
boost
boost in his confidence over the country's indigenous capabilities. Now, Vishnu, as one of the first journalists who flew on the Tejas, tell us what the Prime Minister would have experienced, what would have been shown to him, what would it have been like to fly this sortie?
So we'll get to that package of mine in just a little while. I had flown on the Tejas as the first journalist in 2017. But I'd like to stick to these pictures for a few more moments so that our viewers get an idea of what exactly it is that the Prime Minister is doing. What he would have been showcased are some of the key sensors on board the Tejas. There are multifunction displays. Perhaps the pilot in the front cockpit would have explained what exactly it is that the multifunction displays are showing. The Tejas is a multi-role aircraft. It hits targets in the air and on the ground. And again, the Prime Minister would have been briefed or apprised of that. India is looking also to export the Tejas aircraft, and significantly, Gargi, the engine manufacture of the Tejas, it's an American engine, the General Electric engine. When India does move to the Tejas Mark II, which is a considerably advanced variant of the jet that the Prime Minister flew on, the engine for the aircraft, which is the GE 414 engine, will be manufactured in India. So what exactly did the Prime Minister go through? What are some of the systems that he would have been showcased? I had this fantastic experience back in 2017. Let's take a look at what the Tejas experience is all about. For more than 2 decades, I've been chasing fighter planes around the world. But there was always one combat jet that I desperately wanted to fly. Done today. A rare honor as the first journalist to get a sortie.
We have any problems about RT, and we are in close form, so I'll indicate the 5 or 6.
I would be flying today with some of the most experienced Tejas test pilots. Group Captain Rajiv Joshi would be in command of the jet I would fly. Well, strapping up in a G-suit is an essential part of flying on a fighter aircraft. A G-suit ensures that when we are up in the air, you're essentially safe from the G-forces all around us. At 11:45 a.m. we walked to the aircraft at the dispersal at the Yelahanka Air Base outside Bengaluru. Decades in development, this homegrown fighter is now mature technology. Find out what it means for the armed forces. Small, nimble and fairly unique, the Tejas light combat aircraft is India's effort at catching up with the world's great aviation manufacturers.
VDR on Group Captain Joshi, Vishnu Som, NDTV, 15th Feb, customer demo flight.
Now, after more than 3 long decades in development, that has happened to a large extent. We line up for takeoff with the second Tejas twin-seater.
Rolling. Max Vacate.
And take off together. Flying in airspace between Bengaluru and Mysore, I'm showcased how the Tejas has come of age, its systems, its cockpit layout and its maneuverability. We pull up for a 5.6G maneuver, a gut-wrenching move where you feel the equivalent of 5.6 times your body weight spread equally over your body.
Okay, Vishnu, can you see him on the head up?
Yeah, I can
As
see
a
him on the
small
head
dot?
up. Yeah, I can see him.
Okay, increase speed 300.
After a sortie lasting an hour, we line up for the runway at Yelahanka and come into land. Criticized for decades as a project that's simply taken too long to come up, the Tejas has today... So that was a little bit of my Tejas experience back in 2017, and the purpose of showcasing that video was to show a little bit about what it is that the Prime Minister would have experienced during his sortie.